Gene Taylor is talking with us, K-State Athletics Director. What are the logistics right now for you and those in the department? For instance, are you in the office right now, or how many people are?
Not very many. And with the new edict from the state, even fewer people. There for a while, you were coming in individually a little bit. We do have some essential folks, like a few folks from our business office. In our ticket office, a couple of members go in each day to make sure that orders are getting put through. Our Ahern Fund staff comes in and processes any, donations, et cetera. But now we're trying to do everything as virtually as we can, Zoom meetings and webinars and all that stuff. So we had a conference call today with our coaches and senior staff. We're doing a weekly call with the ADs from the Big 12. So I'm doing, as much of that from home as I can, but sometimes I'll go in because I can get in my office, shut the door, and keep the social distance pretty easily.
You bring up the Big 12 rule now being changed to allow some virtual meetings between coaches and players, which I know is something a lot of people really wanted to see happen. Do you know how the football staff is approaching that? How often they're going to be having meetings like that, and what you can get accomplished, what their plans are?
I don't know specifically. I know they get 2 hours a week. Most of the coaches, when I talk to Coach Kleiman, can do everything from home. They have got their video editing system called Exos that they can, set up a Zoom meeting with their individual positions and go through film and watch film together. I don't know how often they're going to do it. Chris felt 2 hours would be helpful. We're trying to get as a conference to up that to 4 if need be. But so right now they're doing that, and then I don't know how much they'll meet as a team. They'll probably be more position driven. And then some teams, I don't know that they'll use it a great deal because they don't do a lot of film study. But at least to get the teams together, we're very specific that on the strength and conditioning, they can't be watched by a conditioning coach. They have to just be sent the workouts and then do it individually.
Where do things stand right now? I know something I've heard some discussed, like how can you send them equipment? Can they have anything sent to them in regards to that, or protein powder, like that kind of a thing?
Yeah, we can send, basically protein bars and stuff that would be in our, what we call our refueling stations. And we can send them, workout bands, foam rollers, if you're a runner and you run 100 miles a week, if we typically would give an athlete a pair of shoes with those kind of things. We just can't send weight equipment and weight bars and bench press, machines, anything you would have to rent. It's just stuff we have currently in our inventory we could send to our athletes. And again, it's a health and safety thing more than anything.
Gene Taylor is talking with us here. I know this goes to a much bigger picture question, but we are getting to the point now where you're seeing some speculation about the football season, and Kirk Herbstreit, for instance, being a big national voice in the college football scene, he had brought up the possibility, hey, maybe this doesn't happen. Where do you feel like things stand right now on the likelihood that we get a college football season in?
Well, I appreciate Kirk becoming a medical doctor and telling us what we should or shouldn't do, but I'm not ready to go there yet. I certainly am hopeful that if we maintain the recommendations from the medical folks and stay away from one another and be careful and not doing any public events and crowds, that maybe by the 60, 90 days we'll be at a point where we can bring our kids back to campus and at least start in practice sometime in July. I think a lot of coaches feel if we had a 10 or 12, 14-day reacclimatization period that they could get into fall camp in the early August time frame. So I'm not ready to pull that plug yet. I'm just hoping that we maintain the things that the medical folks are telling us to maintain, and hopefully by the 60, 90 days we're at a point where we can bring our kids back to campus.
Gene Taylor is talking with us. Do you foresee any possibility of being able to play, but playing in front of empty stands, if that is the route that you have to go with it?
I think all that's potentially on the table. I could see us also trying to push the season a couple weeks so you can still get most of the games in, if not all of them, and push them in a little bit more into December. I think we do have the flexibility of only having to play 12 weeks. And you obviously got an open weekend there. So I think we could be creative with some of that. Depends on dates. But I think we have to, we haven't really started talking about any of that. The only thing we've talked about is, if they come back, what kind of acclimatization or reentry plan would we allow the athletes to have before they start their official fall camp?
Well, Bob Bowlesby did a press conference over the phone last week, and he talked a lot about the financial impact of losing the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 tournament, but did mention he thought the payouts to the schools would still be, at least for right now, the same for this past year because of some reserves they had built up. Do you have a better picture now than the last time we talked of where you guys might be really financially affected by what's going on right now?
I don't really, because they're still gathering some numbers. We know what the in-state money is. It's going to be significantly less, but there are a lot of pieces to the Big 12 dollars that they're still trying to get a handle on. And even if we know what number, I think we want to have some flexibility that if we want to take a haircut this year, knowing we've saved a lot in expenses because we're not traveling, we're not competing, we're not going on recruiting visits, and push some more money to next year if we do have a shortfall of revenue in football. So I think once we get what those numbers are going to be officially, then we have, as ADs and presidents, to say, okay, do we want to smooth this out? Do we want to take a big hit this year and have more next year? Do we want to be more money this year and less money next year? So those are the kind of discussions we'll have once we figure out where we are with Big 12 monies. But there's still a lot of pieces that are falling into place for the actual Big 12 dollars.
I know that believe the NCAA is supposed to have an official decision here fairly shortly on this, but as far as the extra year of eligibility potentially being granted to spring sports athletes, where do you feel like things are at with that discussion right now?
Well, it's been kind of all over. We're finding out that there are some conferences that don't want to do anything because of the financial potential impact and what some of these universities are going to be facing. We in the Big 12 have pushed for, at a minimum, seniors in the spring sports to not only get an extra year of eligibility, but also increase the financial aid limits so it doesn't impact the incoming freshmen. So that's where our vote's going to be. It'll be very curious to see if it gets voted on today, if it passes at all, or if that's what passes, because there is some discussion of maybe, even though the seniors, they need an answer, but there is some discussion, do we need to push it down the road a little bit and see what our financial issues are going to be before we make this decision. It would be about, for us, about additional, if next year for just the seniors, about $450,000 additional expense for those scholarships.
Okay. Gene Taylor is talking with us here, K-State Athletic Director. Maybe this is the kind of thing that only sports talk guy me thinks about, and you haven't thought about this, but say you're in the position of Baylor right now, breaking in a new head coach with Dave Aranda. You were in that position last year, new head coach. If this had happened last year and there's no spring football and the coach is still trying to get his feet under him here, how much more difficult would that make things?
It would make it very difficult, and we actually talked about that internally. And I said, I'm glad it didn't happen last year, and I do feel bad for Baylor because it is difficult. And I think that's why we wanted to push at least for this virtual opportunity, so at least coaches could, start installing stuff and at least talking to their athletes about some of the new offenses and defenses. But yeah, we'd have been much further behind. And I feel for Baylor and then those programs that have new staff. So we're very fortunate that that's not the case, but we understand. Everybody understands what Baylor's facing, and they want to help them. It's just we want to also be as equal as we can for everybody in terms of access to athletes.
You mentioned hoping to get that pushed up to 4 hours. Is that what most other conferences are doing right now? Major conferences?
No, it's a little bit of both. Some have two. The challenge is there are some sports right now in the spring that are allowed 4 hours of athletic-related activity. Football is the only one with 2, from what I understand. And so we are just trying to make it equal across the board. But that would be, we'd have to go to the NCAA to get a waiver on that because that is a current rule. So that's why we started with 2. across the board, and then we'll see if we can increase it to 4.
Well, this, I don't know how seriously you'll actually take, but I saw this article on ESPN.com talking about the NBA and trying to learn from the Chinese Basketball Association how can we have some semblance of a season here. They mentioned like the CBA, the Chinese Basketball Association, is trying to go play basically in the middle of nowhere, more or less, where there have not been as many cases of COVID-19. And this article from ESPN.com says there's been talk of taking over a college campus in the Midwest where reported cases of COVID-19 are lower for the moment. So my question to you is, can we lobby to get the Western Conference Finals here at Bramlage Coliseum?
At Bramlage Coliseum? Yeah, sure. I'd be happy for that. At least it gets, something going on. But that's I actually have heard that, where they are looking for maybe a college campus because they can, use the dorms, and I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see if they can pull that off.
Man, we're gonna put LeBron James like at Haymaker then, huh? That's
right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we might put him in Weefall. It's a little nice.
Okay, that's right. Yes, Weefall. Yes, that's a good point. Have you picked up a TV show? Have you been binge watching anything?
Well, we did. We did do the Tiger King. That was interesting, to say the least. Believe it or not, I got stuck watching Love Is Blind, which was very interesting.
Oh, I watched both of those, Gene. Yes.
And other than that, just catching up on old shows. We did a run over the weekend watching some of the basketball games. I'd never seen the Xavier K-State game. Oh, my goodness. Even knowing the outcome, must have been a heck of a game to see it live. Oh, wow. So, yeah, trying to watch some old stuff as we can.
All right, I can't let you go without asking this. Do you feel bad for Joe Exotic in the end, how things worked out for him?
I kind of did.
Me too.
I think he just, wasn't very smart, but I will say this. I felt like I was a little bit on the upper end of the food chain watching that, but I'm not.
All right, well, I will not expect you to be getting in the big cat game anytime soon then, Gene.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to buy any big cats. We like the cats we have here in K-State country, but I don't want to be buying it.
Well, if that's not an endorsement for everybody out there to go watch Tiger King, I don't know what is. Even Gene Taylor is watching Tiger King.
There you go.
Gene, really appreciate it. This was a fun conversation. Best of luck with everything, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, hang in there, guys. Talk to you later. See you.